Hi there. I asked people to get in touch if they wanted any videos created, so keep doing that if you can. One that's been requested a few times is for the Collateral form tool. So I'm going to have a quick look at that and also some other areas that relate to it. So, first of all, if we pick a race that's coming up, I always just use examples that are going on. So if we look at the 4:30 at Ripon, it's not been run yet as I typed this. But within every page you've got head-to-head form, every card I should say, which is this H2H. Clicking that brings up a simple list of head-to-heads between all the horses that are taking part. So as you can see, it gives you an analysis by horse. So Blinking in this particular one has raced other horses it's competing against again 3 times and it's won once. Within the last 12 months, it's ran 2 and been beaten both times, and they're actually both within the last 90 days. And that's a sort of quick overview of head-to-head form, and I do actually use it regularly. Personally, I think it can be very useful. But the Collateral form tool, which you access from the research menu and choose Collateral form, offers more in-depth analysis. So if we choose, just quickly go through it. The Collateral form tool's got a couple of options of how to start it. The help section is there, which you can obviously read yourself if you want, but I'll go through both different ways. The first one, let's just choose that Ripon race I was looking at and pick a couple of the horses in the race, and it will bring up on the left the direct head-to-heads. So I chose Blinking and Janab. Janab beat it on the 18th of June 2015. You can view the race quickly by pressing that. And to the right hand side is the Collateral form bar. Now this is a lot more information, and what I would say is that it's really going to be used when you actually have 2 horses that you're very interested in, and maybe you just want to narrow it down finally for a final decision or something like that. I wouldn't recommend just sitting there all day going through every possible horse their Collateral form, because you could be there forever. So it would be sensible usage for your own benefit, I would say. So perhaps the best way is to use an example for a race that I just watched this race at Kempton, and there's 2 principals in this particular race, Hawkbill and Powderhorn. Now it's just an example, but they're both the favourite 2 in the market, and it could be the case that you're down to just them 2 and want a fun bet or whatever. Anyway, there's no direct head-to-heads, as you can see from the left in this particular example. And if you quickly scour through the form, you'll see that there's 3 horses that these 2 have both competed against at separate times, and those 3 are listed here. That's what it means by third horse name. So if we go through each of them, they've both raced against Zorro. Once on the 23rd of July, that was Powderhorn, who beat it by 5 lengths, and on the 24th of June, Hawkbill beat by 1 length. Well, less than 1 length. Again, you can view these races if you want to and go into it in more detail. But very quickly analysing this particular race, you'll see, so that's the Zorro one, they both beat it. Hombre Rojo, they both beat that as well, both winning their individual races against it. And then this third one though at the top, Dragon Mall, on the 24th of June, Hawkbill beat it by less than 1 length. But on the 23rd of July, Dragon Mall beat Powderhorn. So if there's anything to be taken from that, it's that there's a very possible a slight advantage there for Hawkbill, because Hawkbill has beaten Dragon Mall, but Dragon Mall has beaten Powderhorn, if that makes sense. Of course, you'd have to go and have a look at Dragon Mall and see what it's done since, and whether or not you like it. I mean, you can go even further into the race and there's obviously all kinds of different things. There's horses that are improving, and maybe that example's sticking in my head because I've just watched the race. I looked at it and Hawkbill did win, so that's not always going to be the case. Of course, it's never that simple. But that's a couple of examples for races today. The other way that you could use it is if you're using this option B, which is to pick two horses. So again, it would be a case when you've decided that there's two particular horses you're very interested in, and you're trying to separate them. So if we quickly use an example, so Kato Star raced Denman, as we all know, a good few times. So you could enter those two horses, and then they'll come up, select them. You'll get all the direct head-to-heads. I find it useful just for simple interest a lot of the time. But there's the 4 times they raced each other, and the collateral form obviously shows every time that they've faced a horse of the same type at different times. So there's a lot of information to get stuck into there. But obviously with Kato and Denman, that's just purely for an example's sake. Let's use a more realistic example. Tomorrow, we click start again. Tomorrow at York, I'm just trying to think of a couple of horses. Big Thunder. You can just put a bit of the name in, by the way, so I'll just show you that. It's racing against Oasis Fantasy. They're two of the principals in the 420 at York tomorrow. So if for some reason you wanted to select these two and have a look, that's what you would do. So you can instantly see Big Thunder was beaten by Oasis Fantasy on the 6th of June at Epsom, and the collateral form, you can go down through each individual one and see. So running through the first few here, they've both faced Adventure Seeker, both in 2014. Big Thunder got beat by it. Oasis Fantasy beat it. And I don't ever tell people what they should think or what they shouldn't. It's entirely up to people to make their own decisions. But that's what the tool is for. If you find it useful, it can certainly help to make decisions. But I would suggest that you spend some time on it. It's not something that would be for quick punts or anything like that. It's when you're really analysing a race and perhaps have got it down to a couple. So that's the collateral form tool. I hope that's been useful for you, and as I say, always give me a shout if there's any problems. Thank you.